Hi, my name is Mike Noonan. I am an instructor for the UCI mechanics here in Asia. I own a bicycle shop in South Korea, and I'm here today with Superbee to answer some of your questions. What makes a bicycle tool good, and what do you stay away from when buying a bicycle tool? Probably the first thing that makes a bicycle tool good is the materials. As a bike mechanic, we use tools a lot more than just a normal home mechanic. My Allen keys, they're going to work, and if it's not made out of really good materials, they just wear out really fast. And if you're using worn tools, you can damage your really expensive bike parts. So first of all, materials would be the number one thing that makes a bike tool good. Number two would be ergonomics, the shape in your hand. Does it feel comfortable? Some tools, when you put it in your hand, it just feels natural. And so you want to use it. And so when you're working on a bike, it just feels nice. So that's what makes a good bike tool. I stay away from tools from non-reputable brands, brands I've never heard of, something you buy kind of from some dodgy place online, because you don't know what they're made out of. And really, I'll use them 2 or 3 times and they'll just break or wear out, and they're just kind of a waste of money. So you like working on bicycles, but do you also like riding them? This is a great question. I find with bike mechanics, there's kind of 2 sides. There are the guys who just love fixing bikes, but they never ride bikes, and that's cool. And then there are the other guys like me. I love riding bikes probably as much, maybe a little more than fixing bikes. I'm always on my bike, and I think that helps me to be a better bike mechanic. There's a lot of things that I do when I'm fixing a bike, and the best way to test if it's a good adjustment is just to ride it. So for example, I build lots of wheels, and I'm always experimenting with different spoke tensions, lacing patterns. I love to tie and solder, things like that. But I want to know, how does it ride? And so I ride it a lot. I ride my repairs a lot to see how it feels. I started riding bikes seriously when I was 13 years old, and I'm 49 years old now, and I still love riding my bike every day. How did you get started as a bicycle mechanic? So when I was 15 years old, I started racing road bikes as a junior in the United States. And as probably everybody, at least in the US, knows, junior bike racers crash constantly. I was always crashing. So I was just destroying my bike every weekend. And I needed to fix it, and I needed money to fix my bike because I just kept destroying my bike, destroying my body, but I loved it. So I went to a bike shop near my house and I asked them, can I work for you? And they told me I can clean the floors and the toilets. And so that's how I got started. And so I worked for them for 5 years, and they taught me how to be a bike mechanic. In your opinion, what is the most important factor when choosing the right bicycle? When I am helping customers get bicycles, I always ask them the same question. What kind of riding do you want to do? You should first of all get a bike to match the type of riding you want to do. If you want to ride on gravel roads, get a gravel bike. If you want to ride on the road, get a road bike. But also, and just as important, you need to get a bike that fits your body. If you're not in the best of shape or can't touch your toes, maybe that new Aero road bike is not the best fit for you. It's going to be uncomfortable, and it's not going to make you want to ride. You need a bike that's comfortable, that makes riding fun. So in the end, you just want a bike for the right terrain that fits you because you want to make riding fun. And a few other things to think about when you're choosing your bike. You really don't need to think about, is it the lightest bike? Is it the most expensive bike? You really just want the bike you're going to ride. So for me, I have a lot of bikes, as you can imagine. And actually the bike I love to ride the most is a basic aluminum gravel bike. I can ride it on the trails, I can scratch it, I can destroy it, and I don't care. So I ride that bike probably a lot more than my $10,000 super fancy custom bike because it's just fun. So in the end, the right bicycle is the one that is fun, and it's the one that you're just going to ride. Okay, I like this. Get this question all the time in my shop. Tubeless or Clincher? So it really depends on the bicycle and the type of riding you're doing with that bicycle. If it's a gravel bike, so first of all, in my shop, I pretty much only do road and gravel bikes because that's what I like to work on. If you're doing gravel, yeah, tubeless all the way. Tubeless, one of the big benefits is that you can run lower tire pressure without fear of pinch flatting. And also, if you were to get a little cut in your tire, a little cut, it will typically seal it. I rode Dirty Kansas, which is now called Unbound, years ago with tubeless, and I remember seeing sealant spraying around, but after a few rotations it sealed, so I didn't need to stop to repair flats, which was really a bonus for that one. But for road bikes, it's a little more complicated. For road bikes, I did run tubeless for years, but with road bikes and the smaller air volume in the tire and the higher pressure, they don't seal as well they are harder to set up and they're kind of a pain for the customers. So lately I have been suggesting using TPU tubes for my customers using road bikes. And actually I switched on my road bike to TPU. It's super light. It feels really good. And it's just easy. So gravel, I go tubeless all the way. Road, I'm kind of leaning towards Clincher with a TPU tube. What would you say are the biggest differences between working as a race mechanic and a shop mechanic? So we're both bike mechanics, but our jobs are pretty different. I really firmly work mostly as a shop mechanic. It's because it's what I enjoy. I did work as a race mechanic, and I still do from time to time, but I really prefer shop mechanic. A race mechanic, it's very high paced. You're washing bikes a lot. This level of stress is fairly high, and it's a go, go, go feeling. It's great, I think, if you're younger or if you're that type of personality. But for me, I really enjoy the calm and taking my time at the shop, making something perfect and slow. And I enjoy sipping a cup of coffee as I'm fixing my bike. And that's more of a shop mechanic. With a race mechanic, you see the same group sets, the same parts again and again and again. So you get really perfect and really fast, but it's really only on one type of part. Now, those race mechanics, I'm sure, can work on a lot of things, but they get really good at one thing. Whereas shop mechanics, we see a variety of things every day. So one day I'm working on SRAM, another day I'm working on Shimano, one day I'm working on a gravel bike, one day I'm working on a road bike. So your knowledge is a bit more varied and what you do is a bit different. So they're both really different. Both are great and you have to be a professional with both, but I prefer to be a shop mechanic. What's your best advice for keeping a bicycle in proper, safe riding condition? Well, the biggest problem with bicycles is typically with the tires. You want to make sure, first of all, there's air in the tires. You want to check it about once a week. You want to look for any cuts or holes or debris stuck in the tire. So that'd be number one. Number two, if you're riding and you're hearing clicks or creaks or weird sounds, you would want to use your torque wrench and just check the bolts in the stem, the seat post, and make sure they're all at the proper torque. And then I would probably look at the brake pads. If you're using disc brakes, it's a little harder to get in there. Usually I use a little flashlight to see. If you're using rim brakes, it's quite easy to see your brake pads. Check your brake pads. And yeah, those would be the most important for keeping your bike running well. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope some of those answers helped you out. If you have any more, please comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe. And Super B is going to be coming up with some more content. So please come back to the channel and check it out.